Chemo is over.
Yeah, completely, mate.
Hello, welcome back to Cancer at Kona, and chemo is over, finally. So obviously today now we're getting on for Thursday now. I finished my chemo on Sunday, but this was by far and away the worst chemo cycle I've had over both of my chemotherapy treatments. The sort of nausea and things like that came out of this one was just on a different level from all the others, so I'm glad to get it over with. And it's actually my second session of the week this now. I did a bike session last night, which was just an FTP base builder, and I had to hop off. Basically it was just, by the time of the last interval, it was just way too difficult for us and that. So we did sort of like 7 of the 8 intervals last night, which were just top end of zone 2, and then I had to jump off, and basically just, that was me. I crashed after that, but we're back to normal training. And today I was hoping to do this outside, but sort of in the northeast here we've had like blankets of snow coming down, so back on the treadmill at the what's broken? Go on, keep going. So yeah, so I'm back on the treadmill at my brother's house, and there's a bit of a 5k race pace pyramid. So obviously I've mentioned a few times that I've got a target race pace of somewhere around sub 20 minutes. Although after seeing Tom Pidcock's, I might have a go a bit faster than that, but yeah, somewhere under sub 20 I'll be happy with that. So so basically the idea of the pyramid session is, if you've never done one before, is on the sweat. It's exactly what it sounds like. It steps up like a pyramid. So in this one today there's about a 10-minute warm-up, which is just going to be zone 2. So yeah, just to get the heart rate elevated a little bit, start getting ready for the workout, and then we'll do maybe, I don't know, I think there's a sort of 4 or 5 minute interval at a tempo pace, about zone 3, which would be somewhere around about your 10k pace, and then from there we're going to start moving on to the pyramid session. So the pyramid session will start with, you'll have 2 minutes at your 5k pace for the first interval, and then you'll have a rest interval. And the rest interval on this one that's programmed in is half of the actual interval yourself. So we'll do 2 minutes at 5k pace, which is 16 kilometers an hour, which is 4 minutes per kilometer. So that's from that 20-minute 5k. So it's 2 minutes, then 1 minute rest, then 3 minutes on, then 1.5 minutes rest, then 4 minutes on, 1.5 minutes rest, and it goes up to 5, and then you come back down the other side of the pyramid. I don't think Ben wants me to repeat it, but we might go for a second round through. We'll see how long it takes. The idea is you can reduce the rest and probably increase the duration of the highest one as you progress through. That's just how pyramid sessions work. The only other time I've really done them, I've done one other running one, but our tri club loves to do them for swim coach sessions. So when the pools were open, we used to do sort of pyramids in length. It wasn't so much based on pace, it was just based on increasing endurance, so they worked really well. So hopefully it does the same for my running. So I've got, show you the little setup I've got here. I've got this, so there's on the phone, so I've got the Zwift working away on the phone. That just sits there, you guys up there, and yeah, we'll get on, and yeah, I'll have a few little bits and bobs to chat about the treatment last week. I think it'll be worth just covering it in, and yeah, and sort of what the after effects were, and yeah, and what we're going to do going forward. So there we go, that's coming to the end of the warm-up. Just been holding around about 7.5 minutes there, just to get ourselves eased in, and yeah, we're going to pop it up now. I think we're just at 12 kilometers an hour at the moment. We'll try it up to 14, we'll do 2 minutes there, and then we'll have a couple of minutes rest, and then we'll start the pyramid. Just coming to the end of the tempo part of the warm-up, and back down easy, and we take a couple of minutes here, just let the heart rate come back down before getting into the set, And yeah, let's take a minute walk and have a little chat about what's going on. Right, so basically that's my chemotherapy done now. So fingers crossed, that's the end of treatment for a long time. Basically, I've mentioned before in videos that the dose of the chemo tends to stay around about the same. But mine stepped up after about 4 months. Mine went up slightly. So the last few rounds I've had have been a little bit harder than the first few were. But the way the drug works itself is the drug kind of builds up in your system over time too. So as the treatments have gone on, that amount of residual drug that's left in my system gets added to the rest of the stuff that you're taking at the time, and the effects seem to hit you harder. So normally during chemo cycles I've been able to do a bit of light training, and I usually finish taking it on the Sunday, and from the Monday or the Tuesday I'm back to doing pretty light stuff. Not so much this time. It was just grim. From the day I started taking it all the way to the end, I was sick. I wasn't physically sick, but I felt like I was going to be sick all the time. The anti-sickness drugs obviously did a good job of stopping me from being sick, but it doesn't stop me from feeling sick. So yeah, it wasn't very nice. It wasn't a nice place to be. And I've slept most of this week, and I'll show a screenshot from Training Peaks. There's a lot of red in there at the start of this week, and it's just, yeah, I missed nearly every session. Yesterday I got back on the bike for my first session, and basically I think it was only meant to be a relatively easy session on the bike, a bit more base building from the FTP builder, and I couldn't complete it. So normally I like to start my training back off with a run, just purely because running is what I've done the longest. I'm most comfortable doing it. But this is because of the weather. This is the first one I've got today, but so far, getting through the warm-up, it felt pretty good. So now we're going to get into the pyramid, and first up is just pretty simple. It'll be 2 minutes at 5k pace, a minute rest, and then we'll hike it on up for 3 minutes. So let's get at it. 30 seconds into the 2 minute rest after the 4 minute interval. The heart rate's going up pretty high pretty quickly. But that's been a recurring theme all the way out, training through the chemo, probably for a week or two. Well, I'm nearly half a week now since I finished the chemo cycle. Probably for about 2 weeks afterwards, the heart rate goes pretty sharpish up compared to normal, and certainly it sits a bit higher compared to the effort. Legs feel good though, which is good. But this takes around to 31 minutes. Got the 5 minute interval, and that's just at the top of the pyramid. And then we're on the way back down. So hopefully I'll still feel as fresh after the 5 minutes. There we go. There's the hardest rep over with. So that was so that was 5 minute rep. It's 6 minutes a mile. So it's a fair bit of work. Covered about a mile almost, I suppose. But yeah. One thing I am happy with is in these sort of walk recoveries, the heart rate's getting right back down pretty quickly, which is that's a good sign. Maybe it's a sign that at least the cardio system is not as stressed as the muscles are maybe from the chemo. I mean, just since I've started talking, it's gone from about 160 odd when I was doing the tempo session. It's back down just coming below 140 now. So yeah, so that took us up to 26 minutes. We've got 2.5 minutes rest, so we've got about another 90 seconds at this, and then we've got 4 minute effort. So there we go. So that's 2 minute interval done. That's the pyramid finished. Picked it up a little bit at the end, so we went from doing about 6-minute miles down to about 5 minutes 40 something, I think it was, showed up on Zwift. But yeah, felt good. Considering how bad I felt on the bike yesterday, for an effort which in theory was supposed to be a lot easier than this, I'm pleasantly surprised. So the recovery is well underway. So we've got another minute or so, just jog walking, let the heart rate drop down, and we'll jog it out relatively slowly, around about 8.5 minutes a mile for 5 minutes or so, and then we'll call it a day. And that's a really strong workout within an hour. So yeah, I mean, if you kind of want to see the efforts and the heart rate and things go with it, all my data gets dumped into Strava, and there's a link to my Strava page below in the description, or if you go to the channel page, there's a little sort of bobbing thing, it's a button to the side, you can click, it'll take you straight to Strava. Follow me on there, everybody's welcome, more the merrier. And there's also a link to my fundraising in the page, fundraising for brain tumour research below. So that's going really well at the moment as well. And now that we're off this horrible chemotherapy, we can crack on and start thinking, start trying to plan some events. And yeah, hopefully, as the COVID restrictions, maybe get out, train with a few people locally, get the club involved, and see if we can do some cool things, or at the very least, travel about a bit and get some good scenery while we're out running. So I'm going to cut the filming in the garage short now. I'm going to jog this out, and I'll catch us back at home.